me, there is no more real essentiality in marriage because the society even embraced the idea of producing children without matrimony, either by choosing the idea of live-in partners and single parents. Remember, most children suffering in poverty are those from out of wedlock and teenage pregnancy. Let's not get too hypocrite that we try to get blinded with the morality out of our own religions. Second point I will raise is from the second speaker of the opposition. Funding does not affect the legalization of the same-sex marriage, for they are not exempted from paying the necessary payments for a nuptial ceremony. Now, for summarizing our points, a series of exchanged beliefs as to whom have the most brilliant idea of change. But with all due respect to you, ladies and gentlemen, when we are born, we have no knowledge of how cruel the society treats these people we call gay. And with a common belief at first, they taught us how gruesome these third genders are. The question now lies to the idea, what if when we were still a part of the untainted society, and we learned that being a part of the homosexual environment will not char our precious young minds, that despite of being a person different from the norms of society, they share the same burdens and contributed a lot of things beneficial to their society. Would you ever imagine with your extremely delicate minds that maybe if we really try so hard to remove the discriminating part of you, these homosexual individuals might have been enjoying the same privilege only the heterosexual community can enjoy? Another one is it really the inability of these people to procreate and mass produce or raise the reason, with all due respect to the opposition, why they do not want this bill to be passed? Or is it the idea that after this becomes a law, those crushes you have will finally open their closets and as if mockingly tell you, I already told we really are not meant for each other. Di talaga tayo talo. Or is it another idea that these people we call gay are much more beneficial to men than women? Because if I may point out a common saying, ang Pilipinong tipid sa bading kumakain. In my humble mind, I always try to see the benefits of both argument, not for my own self or be biased, but for the betterment of the public welfare, not for its retroactive effect, but for the proactive measures that it may endure, hoping for a much peaceful society for everyone to live in. Let us move to the points my colleagues tried their best to enunciate. Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen, we at the government raised the points of equality, separation of the church and the state, freedom of expression, beneficial effects of the same-sex marriage, and difference of the latter to incest. From the first to the last, government tries to explain that there is nothing detrimental to society in permitting such bill to be passed. Why? First, quote-unquote, any religious body is not obliged to conduct an action if it's against their teachings, which will take us to another point from the side of the government that homo nuptials will be conducted by the state. In short and much easily understandable terms a common mind can comprehend, the public servants authorized to conduct wedding can wed them. Second, we do not set aside the truth of the unity of both gender, bring forth no fruits that may benefit the society. Let us not forget that every action is interwoven with multiple engagement in the society. Likewise said, a homogeneous couple can adopt in observance of their ability to provide, which will lead us to another solution that this might help us with our problems in overpopulation, child labor, child abandonment, and violence against women and children. How would this be possible? Easy question. A person lacking of something they eagerly want to possess would never in their right minds release it from their grasp. What is this thing? Of course, without a doubt, a womb for gays, balls for lesbians. In short, as what the opposition would always point, these people would not procreate, which will strengthen our argument of their right for adoption. On the other hand, violence against women will lessen because nobody will care if two guys hit each other and they will be couples. There is also one thing that will make our arguments assume its fullness in its meaning. It is the teachings of the church that every individual is equal. Every individual is entitled to equal rights. Quote unquote, the government provided that gays and lesbians also contributed equal shares of taxes, which will arise the effectivity of constitution that tells the people that everyone will receive equal benefits regardless of race, gender, level in the society, and profession. One question for the opposition. To you, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Chair. May the answer not be that I answered already. Before I end this speech, why does the Church prohibits the unity of both men and both women? they were the ones that teach us that God knew from the time our minds received the fruit of knowledge that says that everything He made was perfect. Or is it not? Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now call on the opposition wing to summarize and conclude their motion.
Here. Here. Good morning, everyone. Our respected government have put forth an interesting and noteworthy argument. But ultimately, the argument of legalizing same-sex marriage must fail due to many reasons. But for this purpose, we will only focus on three reasons. First point, the government stated that same-sex marriage does not go through to the very purpose or essence of marriage, which is procreation. To this, we strongly disagree because why do two people get married? Isn't it because of the fact or the desire to have a family and raise your own children? But how would you possibly raise your own children if you cannot in the first place produce such? Moreover, the law clearly states that the marriage is the union between a man and a woman whom God has created. Therefore, same-sex marriage would violate such law. Second point, the Philippines is simply not prepared for such thing. Unlike the US and other first world countries that legalize same-sex marriage, which can make any adjustments to their laws and policies due to adequate resources in very short time, the Philippines, due to lack of adequate resources, tend to slow down the process of any proceedings, whether in executive, legislative, and judiciary branch of the government. Also, Filipinos don't know to be adaptable to changes and adjustments of any kind, but to be consistently exposed with such changes and adjustments, I think it would not be good for us. There would be a tendency to lose the essence of things we were used to, and constantly ask for changes even if it is not anymore necessary. Where the government gets a full grasp of the concept of same-sex marriage, still, there are many things to consider before it could be passed into law. And some of these are the insurance benefits, taxes, conjugal bank accounts, paternity and maternity leaves, which are only made available to heterosexual couples as a form of control. The government, as it is, has limited funds. Allowing everyone access to such benefits would further deplete the already lacking funds that they have to further allocate in the system. Thus, control must be maintained, and even if such benefits can only be experienced by the few. Say if the state were to consider the matter at hand, legalizing gay marriage would take up a lot of time and funding. Time that could be better used in discussing more pressing issues, such as RH Bill and cybercrime law, and funding that could be better allocated among the needy health and services sector of our country. Legalizing gay marriage would entail numerous changes, not only in the government system, but also in private sectors. Third point, the stability of relationship is of a prime importance when it comes to maintaining a family. This is why the state encourages couples to get married first before having children, as the marriage would aid them to further stabilize their relationships. By doing this, the state is ensured that the children will grow up in an environment where both parents are present as they give their support and encouragement. Studies, however, have shown that patterns of homosexual relationships suggest that most relationships end abruptly as compared to heterosexual ones. This is probably why the confidence of the state among heterosexual relationships is stronger than that of their trust for homosexual relationships. Now, Mr. Chair and people of this House, we would like to clarify that the opposition side is not against any homosexuals. In fact, most of us here recognize them and in good terms with some of them. What we are against is the legalization of same-sex marriage, which we think is not necessary. Although we strongly believe that every man is equal, there are certain things that we cannot share with others at some extent. Under this premise, we strongly recommend that same-sex marriage should not be legalized in this country for these reasons. First, it violates the church law on the essence of marriage, which is the union between a man and a woman with the purpose of procreation. Second, the Philippines is not yet prepared for this as there are many aspects to consider like the fund for exposage, insurance benefits, paternity, maternity leaves, conjugal bank account, and many other things. And lastly, legalizing same-sex marriage in terms of legal system can be confusing and will only bring headache, regret, and financial problems to the very people within the marriage, and there will be children and adopted children as the case may be.
first and foremost because of the participation despite of the so many times of rescheduling of this debate.
Here, here.
And also, I would like to very much show my appreciation to your work for the different researches you made for the broader aspects of the topic, for the confidence you have bring out in the speech, especially to Miss Agoy. And there, if I would rate this debate, I would, of course, rate it above average for the preparation, the long time preparation of each and every one of us in leading this debate. And just like the first group, I am very confident and strongly agree that this group deserves an exemption.
Here, here.
I would like now for Mr. Gallego to comment on that debate.
Right. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for a very successful round of debates. The opposition side has consistently been good at contributing new ideas and making it really appear as if you have the better recommendations. However, you failed in addressing the most contentions delivered by or raised by the government side. However, all speakers deserve to be commended for their well thought out and well researched and well organized speeches. So audiences, let's give them a warm round of applause. I have a similar comment to the government side in the contributory aspect in their speeches. But then again, in contrast to the opposition side, the government side is able to reckon with or contend with the arguments said by the opponent. Finally, let me now mention that most speakers from the government side was not really worried about the time, and so they got a deduction for that. Nevertheless, for me, the winner for this round is the government side.
Here, here.
First of all, I have to commend both sides for doing a great job. It was a good match. It is evident that they made a thorough research about the topic. They showcased confidence while delivering their speeches, and they delivered it with proper conviction. With this, I believe that this
Okay, before we formally end this debate, I would like for the members of the House for